guys, I'm Sis. You're welcome back to another episode of the Purpose Driven Life. If this is your first time in my YouTube channel, I'd like you to please hit the subscribe button, turn the notification on, and give my video a thumbs. Feel free to share this video to your friends. So today is episode 3 of the Purpose Driven Life series, and episode 3 is comprising of chapter 5 and chapter 6. Chapter 5 says, seeing life from God's view. Seeing life from God's view. Okay, the Bible highlights for this chapter is gotten from James chapter 4, verse 14b. What is life? James chapter 4, verse 14b is asking a question, what is life? So this chapter is explaining or is telling us how to view life from God's point of view, how to see life from God's point of view. So the way you see your life shapes your life. The way you see your life shapes your life. If you see your life as a joke, basically your life is definitely going to be a joke. If you see your life as a competition, your life is going to be a competition. The way you see your life shapes your life. So your perspective will influence how you invest your time, spend your money, use your talents, and value your relationship. The way you see life will influence how you spend your money, how you spend your time, how you value relationships. So one of the best ways to understand other people is to ask them, how do you see your life? So you ask, how do you see your life? And you get a lot of answers. Everybody has a different perspective as to how they see life. So when you ask someone how they see their life, how they see life, it will give you an insight of how or what that person or how that person really is. So we're talking about seeing life from God's point of view. Seeing life from God's view. So how does God view life? God views life as a test, as a trust, and as a temporary assignment. So life on earth is a test. God continually tests people's character, faith, obedience, love, integrity, and loyalty. God tested Abraham's obedience and faith when he asked him to use Isaac as a sacrificial lamb. God tested his obedience. God wanted to know how he'd react as to giving his long-awaited son. God wanted to know the level of obedience he had for him, the level of faith he has for him. So God tests people. God tests people by their obedience, by their faith, and integrity and loyalty. God constantly watches your response to people, problems, success, conflict, illness, disappointment, and even the weather. He even watches the simplest actions, such as when you open the door, for others, when you pick up a piece of trash, or when you're polite towards a clerk or waitress. God pays attention to every single thing. When I say God's like this life, you're going to give full account of it, of every single second that you spend. You're going to give full account of it. So be mindful of what you do, because God is going to question you. God is going to question us. We are going to give full account of what this life on earth has produced or produced. Life on earth is a trust. As you all know, everybody here has a purpose, and God has trusted every one of us with a particular thing. There's a particular talent. God gave you this talent. He trusted you with this particular talent. Some may have two, some may have plenty, some may just trusted with one. But then, how you handle what God has trusted you with, you're also going to give account of that. So God trusts us with a lot of things. God trusts us with talents He has given us, and then He watches how we are using it, how we are making use of it to glorify Him. Are we using these talents He has given us to glorify Him, or are we using it to do something else? Okay, and at the end of your life on earth, you will be evaluated. Like I said, you'll be evaluated and rewarded according to how you handled what God entrusted you with. At the end of life on earth, when we meet God, we are going to be evaluated, we are going to be questioned, and then we are going to be rewarded according to how we handle what God has trusted us with. So we should keep that in mind. Okay, that for chapter 5. Realizing, seeing things, seeing life from God's point of view. Well, we now know that life is a test, and we now know that life is a trust. Life is a test in the sense that that we are tested. Our faith is tested, our obedience is tested, our silence is tested. Every single thing we do on earth is tested, and then life is a trust because God has entrusted in us things that we are supposed to glorify Him with. And at the last day, we are going to either be celebrated or otherwise. Points to ponder on for chapter 5 is life is a test and a trust. And then verse to remember is gotten from Luke 16 verse 10. I'm reading from New Living Translation, and it says, unless you are faithful in small matters, you won't be faithful in large ones. So who much is given, much is expected. So if God has trusted you with this little, and then you can't even handle this little that God has trusted you with very well, you can't manage it very well, then how do you expect Him to trust you with bigger things? The question to consider is, what has happened to me recently that I now realized that was a test from God? What has happened to me recently that and I realized it was a test from God? What are the greatest matters God has entrusted me with? I would like to know your answers in the comment section. So feel free to drop your answers in the comment section so that we can interact, so that I can also share mine with you. And if you're still here, please, and you have not subscribed to this channel, please, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification so that you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you find value in this video, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, chapter 6 is from the third way God views life, and it says life is a temporary assignment. Like I said in my previous video in episode 2, when I was talking about made to last forever, that life on earth is just for a brief time. So chapter 6 is saying life is a temporary assignment. And the Bible verse, this has 2 Bible verses. It's gotten from Psalm 39 verse 4. Psalm 39 verse 4 says, Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered and that my life is fleeing away here. Fleeing away. It did not say walking away, fleeing away. This is New Living Translation. And then another, the second Bible highlights is gotten from Psalm 119 verse 19, and it says, I am here on earth for just a little while, just a blink of an eye. I'm here on earth just a little while. So life on earth is a temporary assignment. Okay? Life on earth is a temporary assignment, and to make the best use of your life, you must never forget these 2 things. He highlighted, he said, first, compared with eternity, life is extremely brief. Life on earth is extremely brief. Okay? And second, earth is only a temporary residence. So we are just here for a short period of time. We're just renting. We are renting it. We're just renting here for the time being, and then when the time is right, we'll go over to eternity. So earth is not our final home. We are created for something much better. So when life gets tough, when you're overwhelmed with doubt, or when you wonder if living for Christ is worth the effort or not. Remember that you are not home yet, at and at death you won't leave home, but you will go home. So when you're overwhelmed with everything that is happening around you, when you're overwhelmed with thoughts, overwhelmed with anxiety, overwhelmed with a lot of things, you should keep in mind that it's only it's just for the period of time you're here on earth, and it's all going to end soon, because sooner than later Christ is coming to take his people with him to paradise. So we should keep in mind that all our suffering is going to end here on earth, and we are going to live a happy, joyous life in eternity with our Maker. Okay, so the point to ponder on in this chapter is that this world is not my home. This world is not our home. The verse to remember is gotten from 2 Corinthians 4 verse 18, and it says, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." The question to consider is, how should the fact that life on earth is just a temporary assignment change the way I am living now? Yeah, how should that fact change the way you're living now? If you're living a very carefree life, you don't really care about anything that is happening around you. You have to be more focused. You have to, if you're living a life of anywhere belief is. So if you're living that kind of life that anything that happens, yeah, you take it like that. Anyhow it is, anyhow you move. You should also keep in mind that after your life on earth, you're supposed to make use of everything God has entrusted you with. You're supposed to diligently make use of it. Those things that God has entrusted you with, those talents He has entrusted you with, you're supposed to use it to glorify Him. So if you're not doing that, you should trace your life back. So that is that for this episode of the Purpose Driven Life series. And I would like you to please hit the subscribe button if you have not. I am begging you. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to share, feel free to comment, and the questions that are to consider here, I would like to know your answers to these questions. And then if you have any questions you want to ask me concerning this book and concerning this chapter, I'll be very, very glad to answer the questions. Thank you for tuning in on this episode of the Purpose Driven Life. Until next episode.